Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining in this very special session where we are interacting with our very own, astrologer from Erode, Tamil Nadu, Bhavani and Bhavani Anand. Thank you so much for joining. It has always been a pleasure hosting you. Bhavani Anand has his own channel on YouTube. It is in Tamil, and I'll be putting the channel link in the description section so you can follow the channel. And this discussion was actually planned to discuss the effects of mundane astrology on all over the world. And the last few weeks have been really, really tumultuous, not only due to changes in the political landscape in India, but also due to the recent events which has happened in Bangladesh just a day ago of this, as you're recording this. So thank you so much, Bhavani Anand, for joining us. I will not put any questions, but you can continue with your guidance, which is always available for all of us in your Facebook page as well as in your YouTube channel. Over to you, Anna.
Yes, it's nice to meet you all after a long time. Why I thought to talk about this thing, mundane astrology now? As you rightly mentioned, things are not going in the right way across the globe. It is to affect us economically and politically, even though if we don't want to happen, because planets are going or saying something. Next year, we will be having this Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune in air and what to say, fire. Now it is in the earth and water signs, right? Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. So, all these three major planets from 2025 will be having a say of affairs in air and fire houses. Next, Saturn and Rahu is going to get conjunct at during next year, mid of next year, that too is going to happen, and that too at Pisces, which represents the sea. India is going to have a dasha change. We are going to enter into Mars dasha, right? And Israel, you have to say that it is a Cancer, right? It has a Cancer moon sign. And the next thing is that our Putin, who is the leader of Russia, he is a Gemini nakshatra. All these things might add up something for the world. As you had rightly mentioned, things are not in a great way at Bangladesh too. We have a neighbor, and neighbors are always represented by the third house. This can severely impact both the share markets and also in the political landscape of Asia. There might be, whenever you have something relating to nuclear explosion, something, Pluto has been involved. Even in 1945, when we had that Hiroshima thing that happened, the tragic event of Japan, we had a Pluto, correct? There was a
Yes.
Pluto involved in the chart. So the thing is, next year, something is specifying that not everything is right. The world needs to be cautious. We need more prayers. And as I said, everyone has to be prepared for this global change. For example, when Jupiter and Rahu was conjunct, we had been ushered into an era of artificial intelligence, right? These days we are talking about extraterrestrials and all. We are talking about space travel. That too is going to happen in few years.
Hmm.
But the biggest thing, the threat for humanity is if all these wars are going to happen, there might be a depopulation or else a reduction in population of Earth. Just like Elon Musk has mentioned, it might be the beginning of the third world war. So, what is the precaution or what we should do from our side? The thing is, we should start some sort of spiritual sadhana. Those who are in their place should start a spiritual sadhana for global peace. This is the right time because next year Mars Dasha is going to start for India. Mars Dasha is indicative of law enforcement authorities. Mars Dasha, whenever Saturn enters into Pisces, we have seen new leaders emerging in India. And when new leaders emerge, it means new problems have risen up and somebody is rising up to face that issue. Recently, there has been a political change or in the neighbors. For example, all the neighboring countries, there has been some sort of political change. And the third house, which is representative of political change, stands to be Cancer in our India's birth chart. So the time is just going on. Next month, we will be having Saturn and Sun aspecting each other, seventh aspect, right? From
Mm.
Aquarius, you will be having that Sama Sabdhama Parvai, we call it in Tamil. Sun represents the government, Sun represents the bones, and Saturn some sort of bitterness. And when both are going to aspect, there has to be some sort of trouble brewing up. The thing is,
Right.
now share market is very volatile, right? Even if it rises up until next April, then people have to be careful about the eclipses next year. Gold prices, though this year has fallen a little bit, might rise next year when Jupiter is going to move again into Gemini. So people have to be careful about their investments. People have to take care of the resources. And most important, people have to start a sadhana or some yogic practice to protect themselves spiritually, to stand by the what is going to happen, because this year 2025 might be the starting of a new world era. Yes, change
Okay.
in the paradigm. 2 plus
Okay.
2 plus 5 9, right? So
Nine.
one
End of.
is it is going to be the 9, and India is going to have the Mars Dasha.
Yeah, and
So
then Cancer actually debilitates Mars, which is India's third house. So,
mm,
and
so
Mars is also the Karaka of the third house in any horoscope.
yeah.
So it's a lot of.
And when Mars is debilitated, he gets angered, right?
Right, right,
Something
right.
has to, something is going to trigger. That's why I said that this is the right time we will have a chat, because Mars aspecting Saturn. Whenever Saturn and Mars are related in some way, either through aspect or through conjunction, it might indicate a situation of war. So India has to be very careful, and we Indians have to be prepared, and across globe world prayers needed. Everybody has to start any Devi Upasana. For example, like Devi Ma, at least Sattvic Devatas. They have to start
Mm.
at least now, because the time is very, very less. You cannot wait till 2030-31 when Saturn will be transiting through the house of Rishabha Rohini. You can't
Right,
wait until then.
right, right,
This is
right.
the right time that Indians have to strengthen themselves. They have to build a Shakti around themselves, and sadhanas have to be started now. Eh, Better now than never.
Mm. Right,
Yes.
right. Those who have actually been following you, Anna, on your Facebook page, you often write about the year 2035, about ushering in
Mhm.
something new.
Mhm.
So could you just explain us what that actually means? Because you always write in quotes and then leave it a lot
I
for
used
us
to
to
write in
decipher.
I write in cryptic languages. Why? I'll tell you. Because 2025, 26, when Jupiter gets exalted, they will I it is a thing that everybody knows that in 2020 we had Jupiter and Ketu, and the effects were known throughout globe, right? Now next year we will be having Jupiter in the Rashi of Gemini, right? But
Mm.
understand that Saturn and Rahu are going to get into conjunction, and there Pluto too has translated to Aquarius. This guy Uranus is in Aries, Neptune is going to be in Gemini, and this might escalate things to another level. Technology might change, but it has to change for better. And when that is going to happen, understand that share markets and also what is known now as technology might become redundant when Jupiter is going to enter Gemini. Technology might leap into another phase, so that IT sector or jobs relating to IT sector might become redundant, and US slowly the economic slowdown will start, and this might have an impact in the dollars that is pouring into our nation. Second thing is, when Rahu is going to enter into Aquarius, petroleum prices, crude oil prices might have an impact and might rise, and that might lead to an decrease in the value of global currencies. So there is going to be an economic slowdown across the globe by 2025. And understand that in the natal chart of Israel, it is Gemini, right? So Gemini, now we have that Saturn in the eighth house transiting. When Rahu is going to be coming there, it is going to be tough both for Iran and Israel, and Gulf might have some sort of exams. And whether we like or not, if something happens in one part of the body, it is going to affect the whole body, right? So
Right.
whole globe is just like a single body. So wherever the pain is
Mm-hmm.
there, it is going to have an impact across the body. And understand that crypto, it is represented by Rahu, right? Because it's just an illusion. So that
Mm-hmm.
illusion is going to enter into the house of Aquarius. When it is going to enter into the house of Aquarius, Saturn will be transiting into the volatile sea. Saturn feels always uncomfortable in watery signs. So something down the line, it will have an impact in cryptos, and many cryptos might become redundant. So there has to be a global change. And when Mars is going to be the Dasha, the policy of India will be more strict, right, towards those who cause an error. It will be more like a Singapore or something like that. The nation will start looking towards stricter laws. So everything will turn more obedience, discipline, and all those things will come into order because Mars enforces discipline. The 7 years, it will be a transition phase. Some new leaders will emerge who will act as peace to the future. So that is going to be having an impact across the nation. And many people, because many people have invested in stock markets, right? Everybody, including myself. So stock markets after April, they have to be careful while investing because you cannot avoid investing in share markets, but you have to know where the wave is going to go, whether it's a bull or bear, because may external factors across the globe doesn't seems to be great. Even the chart of USA doesn't seems to be great, and those who are there in employment should try to update their skills instead of, I'll say, always update, because 2025 to 2033 will be an era where education is going to replace hard assets. 2038, with it you'll have a time frame of 15 years where people will value knowledge more than physical assets. As of now, we have the major planets in earthly and fire signs. So what we value money, land, gold. In future, they'll be valuing knowledge, intellectual property. They will be going for artificial intelligence. Technology is going to take another phase, and the field of medicine too might progress. But humankind has to know that human is born to be kind, and if this wars persist, we will be losing a major chunk of the population within another 4 to 5 years, especially in 2030-31. It is Rohini is going to be transited by Saturn, and that doesn't seem to be good for the whole Earth.
Right,
Yes.
right. Anna, just to put things in perspective, when you say about, about the job losses in the IT sector, I already see that happening with a lot of my friends, as well as clients who work in the IT sector. They are already feeling the heat because AI is replacing almost everything. And, I think based on whatever is going to happen, as you mentioned right now, it's going to be more intense. People have to switch and people have to upskill as well, because just recently you must be knowing that the Congress government in India's Karnataka, they were about to pass a resolution where people have to work for 14 hours a day. So that would be that would be very, very harsh on a lot of people. But because the Mars Dasha is approaching, it might actually become a reality where people have to work like almost human
Singapore.
robots basically.
Yes. You know the work culture in the Eastern nations, they get up by morning and work till night, they earn, and in the weekends they go for a party, right? But when Mars is going to come, I feel that such opportunities for job too will be decided by robots. You had rightly said, na, AI might start replacing humans slowly. This era, na, within 2038, AIs might slowly start taking all the jobs, and humans have to update their skills to compete with them.
Right, right. And also, Anna, when you say about depopulation,
Mm,
do you think, nowadays, obviously, our definition of wars have changed because obviously this is, the last World War, it took place in 1945, and now we are almost, almost
yes, we are
60
almost
or
around 8
70.
years. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
time has
So,
gone by.
yeah. So, do you think, do you think depopulation can also happen by events like what happened in 2020? The coronavirus was unleashed, and there are a lot of
Mm,
conspiracy theories. I, for one, don't believe in conspiracy theories, but I remember you warning us way back in 2019 that 2020 is going to be very, very tumultuous, and it actually happened. A lot of people lost their livelihood, and we have still not recovered, right? But as per my observation, what I see is, the vaccine thing, which was,
mm,
which was enforced by governments. Maybe some governments did it knowingly, maybe some governments did it unknowingly. But even the vaccine thing has been responsible for a lot of depopulation because for the last 2 years, what I have seen amongst my friends and relatives is that the elderly population, they are simply passing away without any notice. And even the heart attack rates have increased among the people, but that also has to do a lot with Saturn because Saturn, it is responsible for for causing the
mm.
sun based problems, and sun represents the heart. So I've seen that happening. So do you think depopulation can also happen by the use of technology, especially by the use of bioweapons, as well as medical equipments, where people are actually conducting experiments, and then depopulation is happening without us actually realizing it, that the depopulation is happening? Do you think that can happen?
Yes, what will happen? 2025 to 2031. 2025 to 31. Slowly, I feel that the planets will move slowly. Saturn will move and get debilitated in Aries, right? When Saturn gets debilitated, understand that whenever your planet gets debilitated, it starts to get angry, just like that in our house
Hmm. Hmm.
somebody gets debilitated. As you rightly pointed out, when Mars gets debilitated, he has that same energy, but he feels that he has been humiliated, right? So the same way is going to get debilitated. So what is going to happen? Rahu is going to come to his own house. So he will do his agenda through Rahu, right? Because Rahu is
Yes,
governing
certainly.
Aquarius also. So indirectly he will govern through Rahu. So kya hoga? That is to say, slowly wars will escalate to another level. When wars get escalated, then no norms might be followed at the lower level of hierarchy, right? Even if
Hmm.
at the higher levels you have all those restrictions, what to use, what not to use, right? When things get out of hand, it will be very difficult to manage, right? After 2028 to 3031, there might be certain aberrations or certain deviations from the norms that have been established by conventions, and
Right,
that
right,
might
right. I was
lead
actually coming
to
to
the
that question. Yeah.
huge fall of population. So it is a high time that humanity thinks that wars lead to nowhere. So it is a high
Hmm.
time that people start praying. So charts have their own say on things. If barish hona hai, agar it has to rain, it will rain. But you can
Hmm.
carry an umbrella, right?
Right,
And
right,
prayer
right.
is the umbrella that can help to reduce the impact. That people should pray that let love and grace prevail everywhere, right? It is a high time
Yes, yes, yes.
because we are standing at the crossroads. We are standing at the crossroads, and after a few decades, the generation should not blame that our forefathers had not done anything to
Yep.
stop those nasty things that had happened earlier. Wars
Hmm.
lead to nowhere, and people can stop them or reduce their impact by prayers.
Right,
Yes.
right. And also to ask you, Anna, I see a lot of my friends as well as clients who are
Mm.
actually working in the IT sector. They are more now looking to shift, their entire career and move towards the agriculture sector. Do you think the upcoming Mars Dasha has this role to play as well? Because obviously Mars represents that agricultural thing. So,
Yeah. Whenever we say that when IT sector is involved, understand that water and moon and Saturn. Okay, because Saturn slows down thing and moon is your thought. So whenever you call it Vish dosh, we call it Punarjanma dosh here in South India. Whenever you find somebody working in IT sector, you might see that moon and Saturn is getting involved either by aspect or by conjunction or by nakshatra parivardhana interexchange. But since Mars is going to have a say now, what will happen? People will start moving away from all that is luxury or all those things, or they will slowly start coming towards this land oriented thing, agriculture. And it's a good decision also, because as I said, self sustainment is the key to survive in the ages to come.
right, right, right. And also, now, what are your predictions with regards to the current Indian government? Because we saw that 2024 results were very, very unexpected. I mean, everyone knew that, the results would be different as compared to what was being projected, But
Yeah.
I was saying
I
that
had
Saturn is
posted
Sat.
a Facebook post. Okay. I had posted
Yeah.
a Facebook post putting a lotus on a sparrow in that with the words 363. Okay. What is the meaning? If at all he comes after 363 days, Saturn will be getting retro in the Rashi of at that time it gets retro. There should be some sort of trouble with the coalition. Understood? Because
Right.
sparrow has a chance to fly away, right? That is to
Mm-hmm.
sing. The coalition should be kept intact, especially after 363 days from taking assuming because power because this thing is getting retro, right? Saturn is getting retro,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever Saturn enters Pisces or the char rashis of Gemini, Virgo, or else this what to say
Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, or else Pisces, you will find a change of power or a new leader power. You will find some new leader emerging out of nowhere. So there has
And
to be a
we
new
actually,
leader next year, some
yeah,
sort of new leader.
we actually are seeing that phenomenon building up, because on one hand
Mm.
you have the current leader of opposition just rediscovering his form all of a sudden. No one actually expected that to happen out of the blue. And then we also
Mm.
see some internal trouble brewing up in the ruling BJP as well, because there are a lot of power dynamics involved. And as you say, next year Saturn and next month itself, Saturn and Sun are going to aspect each other, and then
Yes,
Saturn is retrograde. So it could be a huge political turmoil that we could be heading for. So
yeah.
that's another
And
that's
when
another
Mars gets
interesting thing to watch out for.
uh, and when Mars comes to the Cancer, now it will be debilitated and aspecting Saturn, right? It will be having a
Right.
shade aspect. That too is going to happen. So all these things will add up in 11th and 12th month of this year, right? 24/12/2024. That might be some crossroad there, right? Because
Hmm.
numbers do play a game, and there will be an aspect of Mars by Saturn, eighth aspect, and all these things will add up to some sort of trouble. So what people have to do? People have those who invest in stock markets. They have to be extremely cautious because it's a life savings. They don't have in crores to play with that game. Those who are investing in stock markets, don't get carried away when it goes high and don't cry when it falls. It's all there will be some sort of manipulations going throughout this year because, as I said, everything is at crossroads.
Right, right. And actually, we saw that whatever you have mentioned regarding the stock market, we actually saw that playing out in India, especially during the exit polls. A lot of people lost their money when the results did not come up as expected. And even very recently, I think it was 2 days ago when Kamala Harris was announced as the nominee for the for the US elections. Even then, Bitcoin, it just collapsed, and people actually lost their life savings because of that. A lot of people lost their life savings because of that. So I think, this is going to be a very common phenomenon, in the upcoming years. And as Anna says, I'm saying this for the viewers, as Anna says, please be very, very careful with your money. This is not the time to play around. This is the time to hold back and you know be very, very cautious with whatever investments you have made, either in stock market or in cryptocurrency. Because as per my understandings, cryptocurrency is a combination of the energies of Saturn and Rahu. And of course, as Saturn enters into Aries, that is going to bring more dynamic shifts in the days to come. And Anna, just coming to the personal astrology, a lot of people, as I see, they are facing problems due to finances. You have mentioned about the economic slowdown, but I think it has already slowed down for a lot of people right now as we speak, because the dollar is, the US rupee is constantly falling against the dollar. Even today, it has fallen to a certain extent. So, apart from prayers, right? Apart from prayers, do you suggest any other specific, remedies like visiting to temples or doing certain
So,
specific donations?
uh, yeah, how I am very successful in media, I'll tell you. The thing is, I use the Sampattara technique. My Janma Nakshatra is Kritika. Okay, my Janma Nakshatra is Kritika. And that second, the Anujanma 3 Janma Nakshatra is Rohini, Hasta, and Shravana, right? I used to have a parrot in all my meetings, right? Whenever I speak with somebody, I used to have a soft toy of a parrot. Sri Shukabrahma Maharishi. He belongs
Mm.
to Shravana Nakshatra. When my clients come, I used to suggest, whenever you have something relating to your second nakshatra, it gives you name and fame. Play Sampattara. But one thing understand, when you have name and fame, it doesn't mean necessarily that you will have peace, right? Because you are
Yeah.
activating something. You are activating your
Mm-hmm.
moon. Moon to it brings some sort of it. But whenever you start activating your Sampattara, it gives you wealth. And another thing, whatever I do is, whenever I go for a speech or something, I will have 2 bottles of water, right? Whenever you speak about money, you say don't spend money like water, right? You never associate it with fire. So whenever I go there, and since my fourth house lord is exalted in second house, Chandramana, moon has to be good. Whenever you have to have extreme amount of money, you see, you have to have the sun has to be in the third, sixth, 10th, and 11th house from your moon. And that doesn't happen for everybody. Luckily, I do have from my Lagna ascendant and also this thing. So what I used to do is, I used to have 2 cups of water, because water is associated with wealth, right? Because the first thing that when man would have invented is a pot, and
Mm.
he would have stored water or rice. That's why we associate Lakshmi with a pot, right? And early morning, whenever I rise up from my bed, because I used to suggest to everybody, because 12th house is Ayana Sayana Bhogasthana, Vyaya Bhava, right? 12th house is the house where you spend your
Mm.
energy. But the morning, the moment you rise up, your first house gets activated, right?
Mm.
Whenever morning, before getting up from my bed, even if I have not taken a bath, I just don't bother about cleanliness and all, even morning, immediately I will just start the day with Ganesha name. You would have seen in my Facebook that
Right, right.
morning, for many years, I just post Ganesha's name. And because the beginning is Ketu, right? For Kala Purusha Tattva, your journey, everything starts with Ketu.
Ketu,
And
Ashwini, yeah.
until now, it has given me name and fame on to all. So what I used to say is, if you want immense money, if you want immense power, start the day with Ganesha. And even if you are going to sleep, end the day with Ganesha. If you are with a deity, I'll tell you that astrology is up to certain extent. But there is beyond something astrology that is called a sadhana, right?
Right,
What is
right,
sadhya
right.
is sadhana. Up to certain level, astrology will help you. But beyond certain thing, for example, I will tell you, in 13th century, they what Harihara Bukka. Have you read the story of Vijayanagara?
Yes,
Harihara
yes.
Bukka. They had lost everything. Okay, they were shepherds. They were going in the forest. Then Vidyaranya came. He said, "Who you both are?" They said, "We had lost our kingdom. We are shepherds now. We are just looking after the cattle." What he did, he immediately tore off a small cloth, the loin cloth he had. He tore off the cloth. He took a muhurta, a very good muhurta. He said, Now you host it as a flag. I will do that. What to say, Rajya Abhisheka. That became Vijayanagara kingdom, and it stood for 200 years. So
Right.
even if the chart is bad, if at all you choose the good muhurta, if at all you do the tapasya, it is going to give you result,
Hmm.
irrespective of whether your chart is bad, irrespective of whether is your lagna is bad. That shows what is the condition. Whenever you get into a chart, it shows what is the present condition. It is the just like your medical report. But it is not necessary that the same thing should happen if at all they choose a proper devata. Do it an
Right.
upasana.
Right.
It will give you the results you want. That is to say, Sukabrahma Maharishi said in his Jeevanadi that if you are destined to be a beggar, you will be a beggar. I cannot change your fate. But you will be a politician, you will beg for your votes, you will become the president of USA. Sukabrahma Maharishi said. So the thing is, nobody can change what is written in your destiny, but he can alter it to some extent. You cannot break the law, but you can bend the law, right? So what
Right.
is the thing
Right.
is, your second lord and 11th lord, one is dhana, one is labha. You need it, but understand, if you are a Mesha Rasi, when you get a labha, you also get some sort of, because it's a badakesh, right? It has to be balanced. But your fifth lord, it is little bit neutral, correct? It is your Purva Punya
Hmm.
Sthana.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
have to appease the Lord. There has to be a Devata Upasana. If you want to be extremely rich, if you want to be extremely powerful, then there is only one way, and that is the Devata Upasana. And when you want to do the Devasata Upasana, you have to learn the Paddhati, the procedure, the method, the avadi, the duration. What is that you have to offer, and when you have to offer, and consistency. If you do all these things, understand, your chart, though it is your chart, it will not operate. The Devata will operate and give you the desired results.
Right, right.
That
I
is the
actually have seen it in my, operating in my own life as well. Of course, you have, have seen my chart,
mm,
and you know
mm.
that I have also followed whatever you have suggested. So sadhana actually has brought me a lot of benefits. But what actually pains me as a sadhak as well as an astrologer is people actually look up to YouTube, gurus for sadhana, which is actually not the correct way to go. So I always advise
I
my
will
clients.
tell you what has happened. I will tell you. I knew a friend from Chennai. Okay, what she did was, she did, after going through a YouTube thing, she did the sadhana of a particular Kali Devata. Okay, in Kali you
Hmm.
will have various types of Kalis, correct? Then she just rang me up. I said, no, 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 it is not for all. If at all you have to do the particular Devata, you have to take some duration. She didn't listen. Okay. Suddenly one night she phoned. Anna, my child is jumping around 5 to 10 feet. She is only a 4 years, 5 years kid. I said, did you do the sadhana? She said, yes. I saw the YouTube video and all. I did the sadhana of the thing. Then I said, you need not do anything. Stop the sadhana for 10 days. The child will become normal, right? Because the devatas are alive. They are potent energy. If at all you can handle that energy, take that energy. Otherwise, don't deal with them, because they are very much real, like persons. They can give you whatever you want, but you should have that power to hold that energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or else go for a Saumya Devata. It will take some
Right.
time, it will take a longer duration, but it can be just a Nama, correct? Ram, 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 Taraka
Hmm.
Nama, Bhajans, etc. But if at all somebody wants to take up a real sadhana, they should go to a guru in person. They should follow all his advices. They should follow the timing. There should be a sort of consistency, food, diet, everything. But if at all they take a sadhana, they can understand one thing, that everything what they wish, it will give them. But
Right.
it gives with that, what to say, disclaimers. Here you have
It
the
comes with
disclaimers now.
experience.
You have to
Yeah.
devote your time. You have to, for example, I'll tell you, there is a very big yogi in Tamil Nadu. Okay, I just don't want to name him. He has generated thousands of crores. Once I went to him and I said that you chant and then he said, I deal with only one devata, because my physical body can stand the energy of only one devata. If at all I do a upasana for another devata, I cannot stand by that energy, right? So even what to say, those who are in the yogic path have some sort of limitations there.
Hmm.
If at all you want to take a sadhana, take your chart to your guru, see whom your Atma Karaka is, so see that whether the sadhana will suit you, see that whether your lifestyle will suit you, start it. But once you start it, understand, show it total devotion. For 2 days you do this sadhana, for third day you do that sadhana,
Hmm.
that will not work out. It may take years, but the years you are putting in there will be definitely useful for many births. For example, if you have done a sadhana for a particular deity in a previous birth, the next birth also the deity will come and help you and say that you have done sadhana in that birth. Do you want anything? I will give. That
Right.
is the benefit of this thing.
Right. And I've actually seen this happening, and a lot of people who took up sadhana, in their previous lives, are actually helped by the same deity, and they often take up the sadhana of the same deity in this life as well, because I've seen this myself operating, in this thing operating for myself as well, because I have, my chart, right? I have a Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius in the 12th house, and I never thought that I would be going for Kali sadhana. And then, things just took a turn by themselves. And then all of a sudden, I found myself getting not one, but three dikshas, just in Kali sadhana. So, yes, the devatas certainly do have this role to play. So, just to sum up your sayings, Anna, before we end this talk. First of all, dear viewers, as Anna is saying, please be prepared for an economic slowdown in the upcoming years, at least for a decade, if I'm not mistaken. And secondly, please start with your prayers. I'll see a lot of people, they visit a lot of astrologers, they go through a lot of astrology videos, and then they get confused. And, at the end of the day, nothing happens, nothing comes out of them. So, please start your prayers and don't go for mantras that you find on YouTube. Find a genuine guru who is willing to guide you. And it's not a difficult thing to find one if you are actually interested. Because then I think the Devata also, the gods, even the Kula Devata also helps you to, to in that path if you are interested in seeking a guru. But then, as Anna said, please, if you are taking up the sadhana of any deity, whether it's a Ugra Devata or a Saumya Devata, you should actually have a consistent lifestyle. Consistent practice is the key. And please, if you're starting a sadhana, we always do sadhanas in mandalas, a 41-day mandala or a 90-day mandala. So if you have been given a mandala to complete, please complete it. And don't look for the results, look for the grace where the deity is actually helping you. That has been my experience. If every time I've looked for results, the deity has turned the face away. But every time I have looked at, okay, I don't want anything, I just want to experience the love of the deity, then things have actually started happening. And I think it is going to be the same for everyone. And of course, you can reach out to Anna if you want to, have a reading regarding your chart. I'll put his telephone and WhatsApp number in the description box as well. And as always, it's always a pleasure to host you, Anna. And we'll be looking to have Anna more, in our channel as we move ahead and step into the waters of Pisces, as Anna says. So it's a long journey ahead, and hopefully Anna is going to be there to guide us in each step of the way. You can follow Anna on his Facebook account. It is named as Bhavani Anand. He has his
No, now these
page.
days it has been Sukumaran, Anand.
Okay,
Because
Sukumaran. Yeah, I'll place a link of that Facebook profile as well. And please follow Anna on his YouTube channel if you are from the south, and if you have an understanding of Tamil, there is a lot that you can learn from his talks and from his videos. And I'll have Anna frequently so that he can bless us. The English audience and the Hindi audience can be blessed with his knowledge and articulation. So that's it from me. And final words from you, Anna, before we end it.
Namaste, let love and grace prevail everywhere.
Yes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Anna, for your valuable time. It's really, really enlightening to have you as always. Namaste. Om Gurave.
Ram Ram.